To truly understand ancient Egypt, you have to start with the river that gave it life, the Nile. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus famously called Egypt the gift of the Nile, and he couldn't have been more right. Imagine a vast, arid desert and then slicing right through it. This long, winding river. Each year, like clockwork, the Nile would flood its banks, depositing a rich, black layer of fertile silt. This wasn't a destructive flood, it was a life-giving event. This fertile soil, known as Kemet, or the Black Land, was perfect for agriculture. It allowed the Egyptians to grow abundant crops like wheat and barley, which meant they didn't just survive, they thrived. This surplus of food supported a growing population and freed up people to become artisans, priests, scribes, and soldiers. The Nile was also their main highway, connecting the entire kingdom from south to north and making trade and communication possible. Without the Nile, the pyramids might never have been built. The history of ancient Egypt is vast, spanning thousands of years, so historians divide it into several major periods to make it easier to understand. It all begins with the early dynastic period, around 3100 BC, when Upper and Lower Egypt were first unified under a single ruler, marking the birth of the world's first nation-state. This was followed by the Old Kingdom, often called the Age of the Pyramids. This is when the Great Pyramids at Giza were constructed, a testament to the pharaoh's immense power and the society's incredible organizational skills. After a period of instability, the Middle Kingdom rose, known as a golden age of art, literature, and trade. The kingdom expanded its influence and engaged in more contact with its neighbors. Finally, we have the New Kingdom, the Age of Empire. This was the peak of Egypt's power. Pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, and Ramesses the Great ruled over a vast empire stretching from Nubia in the south to the lands of the Near East. It was a time of incredible wealth, monumental temple construction, and epic battles. The achievements of the ancient Egyptians are simply staggering, and they go far beyond just building pyramids. Let's start with their writing system. Hieroglyphs are famous, but they weren't just pretty pictures. They were a complex system of phonetic symbols, ideograms, and determinatives that could convey complex ideas. Scribes, who were highly respected, spent years mastering this script, writing on papyrus, a revolutionary paper-like material made from reeds. In mathematics, they developed a decimal system and had a deep understanding of geometry, which was essential for surveying land after the annual flood and for designing their massive architectural projects. Think about the precision required to build the Great Pyramid. It's mind-boggling. They were also brilliant astronomers, creating a 365-day calendar based on the star Sirius that is remarkably similar to the one we use today. And we can't forget their advancements in medicine. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, for example, is one of the oldest surviving medical texts in the world, detailing diagnoses and treatments for various injuries with a surprising degree of scientific rationale. Religion was woven into the very fabric of daily life in ancient Egypt. It wasn't something you just did on a holy day. It was everywhere. They were polytheistic, meaning they worshipped many gods and goddesses. You might have heard of some of them. Ra, the sun god; Osiris, the god of the underworld; Isis, his wife, the goddess of magic and motherhood; and their son Horus, the falcon-headed god often associated with the pharaoh. These deities represented natural forces and abstract concepts, from the flooding of the Nile to justice and order, which they called Mat. Temples weren't just places of worship. They were considered the homes of the gods on earth. Priests performed daily rituals to honor the gods and maintain cosmic balance. For the average Egyptian, personal piety was also important, with small shrines in homes and amulets worn for protection. Their entire worldview was shaped by this deep connection to the divine. This profound religious belief extended to their ideas about death and the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, death wasn't an end but a transition to another, better world. They believed that to make this journey, the body needed to be preserved. This led to the intricate process of mummification. It was a long and expensive procedure, usually reserved for the pharaoh and the elite, where internal organs were removed and the body was dried out with a special salt called natron before being wrapped in linen. They believed you would need all your worldly possessions in the afterlife, which is why tombs were filled with everything from furniture and food to jewelry and even board games. The famous Book of the Dead was a collection of spells and instructions intended to guide the deceased through the treacherous journey of the underworld. The ultimate goal was to pass the weighing of the heart ceremony, where your heart was weighed against the feather of Mat or truth. If your heart was light with good deeds, you'd be granted eternal life. At the very top of this entire system was the pharaoh. The pharaoh wasn't just a king. He or she was considered a living god on earth, the intermediary between the gods and the people. The pharaoh's responsibility was to maintain that cosmic order and justice. If the Nile flooded properly and the harvests were good, it was because the pharaoh was doing their job. If there was famine or war, it was a sign that the pharaoh had lost favor with the gods. We know many of their names thanks to the incredible monuments they left behind. Think of Khufu, who commissioned the Great Pyramid, or Hatshepsut, one of the few and most successful female pharaohs, who ruled as a man and oversaw a period of peace and prosperity. Then there's the famous boy king, Tutankhamun. While he wasn't a major ruler, the discovery of his nearly intact tomb in 1920 gave us an unprecedented look into the wealth and splendor of a pharaoh's burial. And, of course, Ramesses the Great, a master of propaganda who ruled for 67 years, fathered over 100 children, and covered Egypt in statues and temples celebrating his own greatness. These rulers were the heart and soul of ancient Egypt, their power absolute and their legacy immortal. Even after 3,000 years, the allure of ancient Egypt remains as strong as ever. From the pyramids that pierce the sky to the golden mask of Tutankhamun, this civilization left behind an indelible mark on the world. Their innovations in engineering, mathematics, writing, and medicine laid the groundwork for future cultures. Their art and religion offer a profound window into the human search for meaning and immortality. Exploring their world is not just about looking at dusty relics. It's about understanding a people who, despite living thousands of years ago, shared many of our same hopes, fears, and dreams. They created a civilization of such power, beauty, and endurance that we are still trying to understand all of its secrets today. It's a story of human ingenuity and belief on a truly epic scale. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through ancient Egypt. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. What part of Egyptian history amazes you the most? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want to explore more ancient civilizations with me, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.